Hello, doing a Compufoo bit. It's primarily related to Java, but we'll also apply it to C and C++. So you compile your Java program into a .class file. The .class file gets submitted to the Java virtual machine. In other words, it becomes an application. Automatically, before the main method is called, there are 3 I/O streams established. And they're called streams because from an input perspective, the characters that are typed on the keyboard come into the program as a stream of characters. And when our application does output, the output is a stream of characters. So that's why they're called streams. The 3 I/O streams that are opened up, well, one of them has to do with standard input. And by default, standard input is your keyboard. With respect to Java, the way we access the standard input stream is we use an object named in that is inside the system class. The object in is of type InputStream and it's an instance variable inside of the system class. So when we want to get input into our application via the standard input stream, we can use the in object to get the input. Most of the time we end up using a scanner object which does formatted input for us, but it uses the in object that's in the system class. With respect to output, there's 2 streams, standard output, standard error. By default, both of these streams go to our screen. However, both of them can be redirected. For example, redirected into a file. And the idea is basically the normal output of your program gets printed to standard output. Any errors that your program encounters while generating the output, well then those error messages get printed to standard error. The way we access standard output in Java is we use an object named out that is an instance variable inside of the system class. It's of type PrintStream. And to print a standard error, we use an object named ERR, which again is an instance variable inside of the system class, and it's of a type PrintStream. So we get our inputs using System.in. Outputs are produced using System.out or System.err. And again, these 3 objects, in, out, ERR, are instantiated prior to the main method being called, and they are instance variables that are defined inside of the system class. With respect to C and C++, standard input is stdin, standard output is stdout, and standard error is stderr. These are file pointers. And then in C++, it uses the objects cin, cout, and cerr, and these are objects that are defined in the std namespace. On Unix systems, standard input is file descriptor 0, standard output is file descriptor 1, and standard error is file descriptor 2. So all we were doing here was just kind of briefly describing how to do standard input and standard output in Java and to a lesser extent Unix, C, and C++. End movie.